That does it for the OHL. We're gonna make our way to the
inferior WHL. Yeah, inferior.
Yeah, the inferior.
Vastly inferior.
Wrong.
And we will start with Riley Height.
Not inferior.
On a slump. He's in a slump right now. 2 games, only had 1 assist. Oh, I mean, so, the downfall starts here. There's only...
trade him now?
Can't do much better. Yeah, trade him now. For a
we can get McBain back.
Yeah, there you go. But let me just pull this up again right here. Before I even dive into like the performances, he played 2 games this week, again, 1 assist in those games. There was an actually article today on EP Ringside for anyone that may be a subscriber there. Phenomenal if you're in the prospect talk. They're just a very good subscription, obviously. They put up, let's see, who was it? Oh yeah, Victor Nuno, who is his expertise is futures for fantasy hockey, which is a whole other realm of prospect analysis that I can't even begin to like try to get that figured out. Like, that is just dedication. I mean, that is unbelievable. But the headline was Prospect Perspective. Jesus, come on, man. Help us out. How Riley...
That's got to be the second name now. Prospect Perspective. Just you say it every week. Done. Good. That's locked in. I'm Continue now with Prospect Perspective.
That's mine now. Thank you. But Prospect Perspective, how Riley Height continues to produce without much fanfare. Speak for your fucking self. All right. Like, holy fuck. Not me. Not every single person who follows
Hockey Canada.
Yeah, again, they probably could have used a guy like Riley Height at that fucking tournament, but what do we know?
Nah, what do I know?
But let's see, they played Kelowna this weekend. Wasn't his best couple of performances. Not worried, obviously. 4 shots on net in their first game, 5-2 win. Wasn't great at faceoff dot. Game 2, they lose 3-2 in a shootout. Puts up an assist, went 14 for 24 at the dot. So 40 games this year, 22 goals, 50 assists, 72 points, plus 17, 26 penalty minutes, 122 shots on net. So he's 3rd in WHL scoring in terms of points. He's also 3rd in assists. Zach Funk, his teammate, 1st in goals. All they do is score. Like, the fact that they scored 7 goals in 2 games, it's like, oh, are they okay? All they do is produce. But God, that team is so fun. Like, they have so many guys in their entire top 6. It's just 6 absolute offensive weapons. So just an absolute nightmare for teams trying to just keep the puck out of the net. But again, he is unbelievably smart. Like, any time that they have the puck, he is either creating for everyone else, creating passing lanes, creating shooting lanes, or he himself is finding quiet areas of the ice, and he's like, every scoring chance he gets, it's like it's gonna end up in the net, just where he finds himself on the ice. Like, he is unbelievable, and I still cannot believe that he ended up being drafted where he was drafted. Like we said it before, if you just literally switched the Minnesota Wild's picks the first 2 rounds, it would have made more sense, probably.
Dude, people have gotten big mad at me too. Like, people have been bitching like, oh man, if the Wild had only taken Gabe Perreault. And I just always reply like, yeah, like Riley Height makes me not care as much. And everyone's like, yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with it. Like, they could have had both. I'm like, right, but that's not my stance. My stance is it makes me care less. Not that, I like this move because they took Height. Like, I just don't care because we got a 1st-round talent. So whatever. You swing and miss sometimes. And guess what? Charlie Stramel might not be a miss. Like, he's looked a lot better in the past month or 2. And is it tough seeing the numbers that Gabe Perreault's putting up and seeing what he did at World Junior, whatever? Sure. But there's still a lot of runway and development for these guys. And let's be real, there was a level to which this was an organizational need to have something down the middle, which Gabe Perreault is not.
Right. And I mean, everyone's least favorite thing to hear after a draft is like, is the upside between Perreault and Stramel, and we'll get to Stramel hopefully. Within before next week we'll get to him.
Maybe.
But do they have the same ceiling? No, not remotely close. But you want to talk about floor? Like, to me, Stramel is a no doubt NHL center at some point. How high is the floor? I don't know. I struggle to see like a top 6 center, but he has in the past shown that upside too. He is like incredibly skilled. He's I feel like I say this every time too. Like, it's hard to he's very smart. It's like, well, at times he's not, because he will like murder somebody on the ice on purpose, right in front of the ref too. But in terms of just like, again, another thing, creating lanes, like generally with the puck, making right decisions where he finds himself on the ice most often. Like, he is a very intelligent hockey player. It's just that sometimes he has a very short wick and he will decide to just bury people. But the floors are not comparable either. So again, we'll get to him eventually here, but
no, totally. And
like you said, his last week have been
assholes.
But last couple things on Riley Heidt. My favorite way, or like the most accurate way to describe it, is like the class, just a triple threat. Like, he's going to beat you somehow, because he is like by far his best asset, and it reflects in his like stat line, is his passing. Like, the smallest passing lane, he is going to find you tape to tape. Like, doesn't need to look. But like, the shot's also a weapon, obviously. But like, I think it was actually maybe even the same guy, the funniest, or not funniest, but like one of the more apt comparisons. Like, hey, like his not ceiling, not floor, but like a decently accurate prediction. If he doesn't like completely hit but doesn't completely miss, he's like an angry Nick Schmaltz, which is like the funniest way I saw someone put it. I was like, that's actually really fucking funny. But there we go. Just pull this up again.
How do you land on that? Like, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just like, how do you even get there?
Well, again, so like you look at it, I think it was this guy. The whole thing with this headline is like, continues to produce without much fanfare. Like, Nick Schmaltz like literally entered the league, immediately scored 20 goals in Chicago, and just like kept producing. And I was like, oh, he's pretty good, decent player there. So I guess that's where you land on it. But he does have a whole lot more bite. Like, he is not afraid of getting into those fucking absolute muck fests in front of the net. He also is a phenomenal forechecker. More often than not, he's going to go and he's going to win the puck. He's going to create possession, create scoring chances from there. So realistically, all this kid does is just produce offense and scoring chances. So sky's the limit with this kid. I am quite confident he will end up, whether it's center or wing, he's going to be a top 6 scoring forward in the league with two-way capability. So another great pick.
Handicap it. Like, what odds would you give at each position? Are we talking 90-10? Are we talking 60-40?
I'd say 70-30. He kind of strikes me more in the NHL as a wing. Especially just like how you look at the prospect pool right now, like what's going to be in more like that profile of center or that profile wing. I think they're probably leaning towards wing for him. Just because, like, again, the scoring capability is insane. But like, again, like you look at the prospect pool too, is they have so many of these guys, like, hey, they could be either or. They're Attaboy Cosgrove 50-50. Either he will or he won't. It's a good point. Can't argue with that logic, Cosgrove.
It is 50-50. And actually, Cole, thanks for the shout out on the hats, even though Z doesn't have one. GetYourWagalon.com, everybody. Big release that just happened on Wednesday. Incredible drop. Oh, look at that double hat. Holy shit.
Weirdly heavy.
Double bagging it. But GetYourWagalon.com, promo code SP10 for 10% off. They had some bangers this week. They never have any bad releases, but this is one of my favorite ones they've done. So get over there fast. My favorite quarter zip that they've ever done, the Lone Wolf. It's like an Arctic camo that's got wolves hidden in it. They just made it into a hoodie. So everyone run, don't walk. I hope that it sells out before I have a chance to buy it, because my wife will look at me cross-eyed if I get a second version of that style. So locked in looks. Yeah, that was a good one too, Mateo. In.
So there we go. wrapping that one up. Riley Heidt again, 3rd in points, 3rd in assists. He's having yet another phenomenal year, on pace to produce even more points he did last year. So it's a good sign. So last play of CHL, last play of WHL, Kalem Parker. Moose Jaw also made a big move at the deadline, bringing in Matthew Savoy, Buffalo Sabres prospect. He has like, I think 2 or 3 points in each one of his first few games with Moose Jaw. That trade was 2 firsts, 1 second, 1 third, 1 fourth, 1 sixth, and an eighth. So decent little haul there, and he is lighting it up. I think he's played 3 or 4 games. He's been first or the game twice. But Kalem Parker's played real well lately too. Only 1 game this week, had an assist, +3. Scored in his assist, not goal. Produced. Let's see. Froze again. There we go.
While you wait for it, dude, how stupid is it that Savoy is yet another among what a litter of prospects the Buffalo Sabres have?
Yeah, it's a joke. It makes me sad.
And they're going to get another good pick this year, apparently. Like, why? Why is this happening?
It's just a breeding ground for future assets only, apparently.